who never went back to a house. What did you find? I knew something was wrong the second those kids opened the door because they didn't smile or wave or do any of the things normal kids do. They just stood there with their hands folded like little soldiers. And the older one said, "Hello, you must be the babysitter. Please come inside," in this voice that sounded rehearsed. Their mom rushed past me rattling off instructions, but she kept glancing at the kids like she was making sure they were behaving. The dad told me the kids knew the rules and wouldn't give me any trouble. And when I asked what rules, he just said, "They know," and walked out. I stood in the hallway of this massive house watching these two kids stare at me, and the younger one, who couldn't have been older than 5, kept looking at a door at the end of the hall that had a padlock on it. I suggested we play a game or watch a movie, but every time I made a suggestion, the older one would say, "We're not allowed," in this flat voice that made my skin crawl. They sat on the couch with perfect posture and didn't fidget or do anything kids their age normally do. When I asked if they wanted a snack, the little one whispered, "We already ate today," like they only eat once a day. I went to grab some juice boxes anyway, but when I came back, the little one had moved to the edge of the couch closest to that locked door and he was just staring at it. I handed him a juice box and he took it with both hands like I was giving him something precious. When he took a sip, his brother said, "Careful," in a voice that sounded genuinely scared. I was about to tell them to relax when the little one's hands slipped and the juice spilled all over the carpet. The way that kid reacted is something I will never forget because he threw himself onto the floor sobbing and begging me not to tell his parents, saying, "Please don't make me go to the room. I'll be good. I'll clean it up. Please don't make me go to the room," over and over until his brother had to hold him. I got down and told him it was okay, that it was just juice, and I asked what he meant by the room. His brother said, "We're not supposed to talk about it," but the little one was too worked up to stop, and he said, "It's where bad kids go when they break the rules, and you have to stay there until you learn, and you have to be still and quiet or it gets worse." I asked how long they had to stay, and the older one's voice cracked when he said, "Sometimes a really long time," and then he whispered, "One time I was there the whole weekend because I cried at dinner." I asked where the key was, and the little one pointed at the door frame and said their dad kept it on top where they couldn't reach. I walked down that hallway and reached up until my fingers touched metal. The padlock clicked open and the door swung into darkness because there were no windows. I turned on my phone flashlight and saw concrete walls and a bare floor, and I felt relieved for a second because it just looked like an empty storage room. I took a step inside and the light moved to the corner and I saw a small bed on the ground with leather straps attached to the frame, and the straps had been tightened so many times that the leather was cracked and worn. The mattress was stained yellow and brown, and the smell hit me so hard I had to cover my mouth because whoever had been restrained, there had been left long enough that they couldn't hold it anymore. I kept scanning because I needed to believe there was some other explanation, and that's when I saw the baby monitor mounted in the corner pointing straight down at the mattress. There was a laminated piece of paper taped to the wall with a list of rules and check marks for punishments already served. One rule said, "No crying during meals," and there were 11 check marks next to it. Another said, "No talking unless spoken to," and there were so many check marks I couldn't count. I turned around and both kids were standing in the doorway, and the older one had tears streaming down his face, but he wasn't making any sound because he had been trained not to. The little one looked at the mattress and said, "That's where I sleep when I'm bad," and his voice was so calm that I realized he didn't even know this wasn't normal. I picked up the little one with one arm and grabbed the older one's hand and walked straight out the front door, and I didn't stop until we were locked inside my car and I was already on the phone with the police. The older one finally let himself cry out loud for the first time, and he kept asking me if he was going to get in trouble for leaving.